I find society painful, though. I do get that. I like to withdraw because I find it really difficult to be around people who dislike what's different. It's really hard. It's difficult, but I think that the way that we can deal with this is by realizing that it's not that the problem comes from their fear. It doesn't come from we are stronger than them, actually, because we're daring to be the weird ones. We are daring to be ourselves. We are daring to maintain our sensitivity, and we see it for what it is, right? So I think the important thing here is we see it for what it is, and we can do one better than that. We see it, discard it, right? We see this judgment. Who cares? I don't care, and no one cares. If you don't care, they don't care. You care because you're sensitive. I'm sensitive, and we read the signals coming from people, and it's horrifying, painful, and you can see how people want to control you and to strap you down as one of them. But I think you can do so much better than them because play them. Be a sort of devil character. You can you don't owe them anything besides to get through the world in a way that sort of assuages that fear of your difference. And you're always going to be interesting because I suppose your mannerisms carry into life, and people will notice that you're different. And I'm sure from the way that you write and the way that you express your thoughts, you're really intelligent. So I think there's a lot that people are going to see under the surface anyway, and they're going to be attracted to that. But I think the main thing is that people dislike difference, but you can act more aware of it. Okay, I'm different, I'm aware of it, but I have these actions that I need to do, and I have these things that I want, and it's hard to know what you want, but what you want is to be strong, and what you want is to not let them get away with pushing you out of the world. You want to get as much as you can from it. You can flaunt your strength, and you can flaunt your intellect, and then you can condescend to their level and help them along, and not let them in on your condescending. This happened in so many jobs that I had, so many entry-level jobs. People would think that I was stupid and extremely weird and sort of repulsive to be around because I was always preoccupied. But if you maintain an awareness and a presence and condescend without them realizing that you're condescending, you can kind of play the people for your own standing amongst them. And it's almost as if you have a responsibility to do that as someone who's more intelligent and more out of place. But it's not always necessary, because I sometimes think there are more important things. It's to a large degree it's outsiders who have moved to the world, who do the exciting things. I was really interested in a TV series and book recently called The Terror, and the character Harry Goodser, he's an INTP, and in the TV series he's seen as kind of weak and meek, and but actually it's because he's always listening to see what's going on, and he's always occupied with exploring in his mind and exploring these new things that he's encountering. Like, his mind is always elsewhere, and he plays the soft game to be unobtrusive, so that he can retreat and do his own thing, which I do. But I think a lot of INTPs do this, and people misread the character. They think that softness and that meekness and that distaste that others have towards his sort of effeminate nature is INFP. He's all daydreamy and soft. He's not daydreamy and soft. He's preoccupied. He's distracted. But we don't judge him for that because he's a scientist and he's actually more interesting for that. He's kind of like the outsider that, you know, does the interesting things. And even going on that journey was something that was done. I mean, partly it was done for practical reasons. You know, he was very clever, the character, and I guess the real Harry, for choosing to go on this Arctic exploration, which would put him in great standing amongst scientists at the time and be extremely socially beneficial. And he was using social connections to get there. But I think also it's what is interesting about him is his difference. That's what endears people to him, and that's where he makes his discoveries, and that's why he's talented and intelligent. In the book as well, you know, people underestimate him because he's not really there. He's not a physical body, but his mind and his oddness and his strength of personality and his sort of duplicity as well are kind of there, and he has all these capabilities that. And I think science and history and culture are so much more important than temporary presence and awareness. But people all too often take that for weakness and weirdness, and they dislike it. But you know, there's somewhere there has to be a balance struck, and I feel you on this one. It's not easy, but we're better, you know. We can play the game. We can play the devil's game. So, you know, we'll find a way. Yeah, David Green says, not interested in what most people seem to enjoy, like sports and reality. Yeah, I get really pissed off when people start talking about sports and reality TV or TV in general most of the time. I've watched about like 3 TV series in my life. I do not care about TV. I think, yeah, it really irritates me. It's also why I tend to keep my circles small, is because as soon as someone starts talking about something that's really banal, I sort of immediately cut them off, because maybe not necessarily in the conversation, but in my mind, you know, they're already done for. I don't want anything to do with this person. Really mundane. Can't stand it. Yeah, it really irritates me. And some people take that for snobbishness, but it's just like, what's the point? You know, I don't want to waste my time with these people. Yeah, close contact can bore me as well. But then I always look back on it when it's missing, and then I miss it. So I guess I just wish there was some purpose to keep people around, rather than just like this all in or all out that we seem to live in. I really have this problem as well. And I get extremely bored and irritable in company, and tend to disappear on people. Even if they're interesting, I just feel like there's so much going on in my head that I'm not really interested in anything else. Very self-absorbed. I think it's a sin, but it's also just the way we are. So everyone's sinful in their own way. That's one of the things that we have to come to terms with. I'm not even a Christian, but I think you know, accepting that we all have this sort of self-absorption, self-corruption in us is vindicating, because, you know, we're not uniquely awful. We're not uniquely bound to some ideal of perfection. It's just one of those things that we have to deal with each day, and it doesn't get easier, or maybe it does and we get better practice. I have no idea, but just some thoughts on that. Moondust. I really love INFJs. Truly, I think INFJs are wonderful people. We're the golden pair, right? We're the ones to envy of Myers-Briggs matches.